Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy tutorial on how to mass produce a whole lot of masks all at once. I know the last thing the world needs right now is another homemade mask tutorial, but when I was searching for masks last night for instructions on how to mass produce them, I was having a lot of trouble finding instructions on how to make a whole bunch at once. So I thought I would make my own little tutorial. So I am starting with a 10 by 10 inch square. And the reason I chose this size is because it's a really common quilting size. You can find pre-cut fabric in 10 inches by 10 inches, or you can just cut it yourself. But it's really common and easy to work with. So the first thing we're going to do is fold it in half with the wrong sides out and just sew across the top. So this is going to be the main time-saving trick. Instead of working on this mask all at once, we're actually going to go ahead and start the next mask. So we're going to do the same thing, turn it inside out, so across the top. So this is what we call chain piecing. You don't have to lift the foot up, you don't have to cut the thread. It's really easy, you just feed the next piece through. Do another. Alright, so I'm just going to do 3 right now. But when you're doing them, you can do 100 or 200 or 30 or however many you want. So what you have is going to end up looking like this, with all of your pieces kind of tied together, like one of those flags. So we'll just go ahead and clip those. So I would clip the whole thing all at once. Don't just clip one at a time before moving on to the next step. And then go ahead and turn them all inside out. And again, this is something we're going to do all of them at once. The purpose of this is kind of to be in production mode, so we're going to make it kind of like a little factory here. So we have all of these turned inside out. Then we'll go ahead, put the seam at the top or bottom, make a little rectangle. It should be 2 layers thick, it's like a tube. And then grab it and fold the top over once, and then fold it over again. So now we have a little channel, and we're going to sew along right here at the bottom of this tube. So the purpose of this is to make another channel for our elastic to go through. And I like to make these channels somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch. So we're going to do the chain piecing again. Instead of moving on to the other side of this, we're going to leave it as is, fold the next one over once, fold it over again, and so right along this line. Alright, moving on to the next one, fold it over once, fold it over again. Alright, so now we have another one of these little strings of flags. Go ahead and cut those all apart. And if you want these to last a long time, if these are going to be more than one use, you might want to just backstitch here at the beginning and at the end so that stitch will hold up over multiple washings. So I'll show you how to do that on the other side. So we're going to take it, loose ends, make sure you're folding it in the same direction as the other one was. Fold it over once, fold it over again. This time we'll do the back stitching. So take a few stitches forward, a few stitches back, and then do it across. And then a few stitches back at the very end, and then across. And then move on to the next one. Fold it over once, fold it over again. Fold it over once, fold it over again. These are a little thicker, so you might need to lift the presser foot. All right, so now we are finished sewing our masks. So we have 3 completely sewn masks. We can just go ahead and clip them apart. And it is time for the elastic. So I ended up buying an 1/8 of an inch cord elastic. This was really cheap. I got it on Amazon, 50 yards for $8. And I've tested it out. It works pretty well. If you want it to last a long time, I would probably burn the ends with a lighter, or else they'll fray like crazy. But it works really well for our purposes. So I take a safety pin, loop the elastic through the hole, and tie it off. Tie it really tightly. So that's what we have. And then we're just going to feed that through this little channel. Out the other side. So instead of finishing this and then having to retie the safety pin, we're just going to move it down and start the next one. So feed it through. Start the next one. All right, so once you've done, I probably wouldn't do all 200 all at once because that'll be a mess, but maybe 10 at a time. Go ahead and clip off your safety pin. And then measure out how long you want these elastic bands. I like to make them 10 inches just because then I don't have to measure it. I can just hold it up to another piece of fabric without stretching it, and make sure that it's about the same length. So we'll clip it so that it looks like this. And then we have our next one. Slide it down, measure it out, approximate, clip it. Then we have our next one, slide it down, measure it out, and clip it. So then I just take these 2 ends, tie them off, make sure you get that really tight, and then it'll look like this. That's what I'm talking about. This part will fray, so I just go ahead and put a lighter over it real quick to make sure that it's not going to get all crazy. So you have elastic for one side, and then if I were doing this for real, I would go ahead and do all of the ties all at once. And then you can do the next side. Thread it through, tie it off, and feed it through your channel. So if you don't make your channels large enough to fit the safety pin through, that will be a problem for you. It might be worth it to rip out all the stitching, or maybe just fold it over one extra time and put a new line a little bit longer that way. Then it just won't be quite as long this way. So we'll measure it out. And again, if we were doing this for real, we'd be doing all of them at the same time. But we'll tie it off. And there you have it. A whole bunch of masks. What I like to do at this point, I am preparing these for a donation, so I want to make sure that these masks are clean before I give them away to the public. So I would go ahead and wash them all, and then put them in a little Ziploc baggie as soon as they come out of the dryer, so that people know that they're clean and so that they don't get contaminated when someone grabs one. And then when you're ready to wear them, I would pull this tight so that it kind of cinches it up right there. And there you have it. Fits pretty well. If you have too much air coming out this side, just cinch it up. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you.